Hello everyone and welcome back to TritonTv. It's been a long time since I've made a real video. Sorry about that. I've made a few, I just haven't posted them. Like I did a Doom playthrough on a certain game and whatnot. But this is actually a cool video series I've wanted to make for quite a while. And as you can see by the title, this is basically episode 0 of the emulation, ROM, and virtualization video series. It's just something that I thought would be really cool because I've spent a long time getting like a video game library of like Nintendo games, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Wii. I even got a Sega Genesis the other day. But you know, there's like the saying of PC master race, and people who game on consoles are always like, why do people say that? Well, the thing is basically, have you ever wondered how you could fit a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PS1 and all that inside of your computer? And it's because of what are called emulators. So you can basically emulate any hardware and software, we'll call it system, and play games from any console you want as long as you get the emulator running and you get the right ROM, which there's legality issues with those, especially for Nintendo. So I'm not going to tell you how to get ROMs, you can Google search that yourself. But let's take a look and dive into a screen recording. Let's go ahead and I'll just pull up some of my emulators and ROMs, and I'll talk about how you do it and why you would want to do it. And so hopefully if you think that's a cool idea, go ahead and smash the like button down below and subscribe for more, and let me know what you want to know about emulation, ROMs, and virtualization. And the reason why I'm including virtualization into this video series is because there were some games, I'll show you in a sec, that I played when I was younger that you need Windows 95, Windows 98, or Windows XP to run. You just can't run them, and there weren't source ports out there that I knew of, and so it was a cool project to get a virtual machine of an older Windows OS running so I could play those games. So let's go ahead and Alt F. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn on, I have an Xbox controller. We're going to go ahead, turn that on if you can hear that. And we are going to go ahead and let's start with the NES. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this and run it, and I'll just kind of explain how a lot of emulators work. They're all pretty similar. You get them installed. Most of the time you can leave the game files zipped, and then you'll set up basically where the ROMs are located, and then you'll tell it, hold on, what was this called? FCEX. Open ROM. I haven't done this in a while. Yeah, so go to games. This is an NES ROM, and let's go ahead and open the original Zelda game. So as you can see on the screen, this is the original Nintendo game that came out in 1986, and right now I'm emulating a Nintendo NES and the game. And the controller works, joystick works. I don't know what the buttons are. Oh, maybe I haven't mapped the buttons. Weird. Let's go ahead and... Most emulators are all the same. You can go to a tab, it's usually called Input, and then let's see if we can configure. Let's go ahead and do up. Actually, all we really care about is A, B, start. Let's try that. And then usually you can save them too. So you can, most emulators will have options for like audio setups, video, gamepads and whatnot. Most of the time they're all pretty canned, and you can just have your control. Usually it's better to have your controller connected beforehand. But yeah, let's see if that works. I don't know why that's not working. Let's try this guy. I have this USB Nintendo 64 controller. Let's see if this works. I'm going to configure input. give it gamepad. Virtual gamepad 1 up. Maybe it doesn't want to use this. Oh gosh. I don't know why this controller's not working. Oh, I don't have any items. Oh gosh. Here we go. See, I can get a sword. That makes sense. So go ahead and get the sword here. Just to show. But yeah, the cool thing about having a digital library of video games, that's the way I consider it. I consider it kind of like a digital library. Is, yeah, it's basically like, yeah, it's like a museum relic. It's like an artifact of the past. And they're really easy to get going once you get the hang of them, and they're all pretty much similar. So let's go ahead and click on the Super Nintendo emulator. So it has a little bit different of a look to it. This one, yeah. This one's really simple. Most of them, the file structure is the same. If you have the games in the same folder that the executable is in, it'll usually read from there, but you can always change those. So yeah, this is our Super Nintendo. Let's go ahead and play. As you can see, I have a huge library. I've been collecting ROMs, which are always, of course, legally obtained. But yeah, I've been collecting these for a long time. Let's see if we can get this. Here's the next Zelda. Let's make sure input is set up. So yeah, you can see you have the game tab. You can say, oh, that's another thing too that's really cool about emulators is they have save states. And so let's say you're working a game where you can only save at certain points. You can save it and it'll go back to immediately where you were, exactly how it was, and it won't count for an in-game save. So if you're working on like accomplishments and whatnot, let's go to Impad. Let's see. Usually you can load it. Let's go ahead and put set keys. Enter the key, or up, down, left, right, start, select. A, we'll do A, B, we'll do X, Y, L, R, boom. And then we'll exit. And then we'll just go to, usually you just push escape, there we go. Let's see if we get this going here. Come on. Alrighty, so that's NES, Super Nintendo, and then, oh, it flipped my screen. So that's the one thing too. Sometimes emulators will mess with the screen setting, make sure we're still recording. Okay, so that's NES, Super Nintendo. We got a little Game Boy Advanced here. I don't have as many games for this one. Let's see. Let's pull up. Let's pull up another Zelda. Joypad, let's make sure this is set up. We'll try it out. Let's go full screen. It works. Nice. Let's go ahead and close that. But yeah, a lot of the times too, the people who make the emulator, they're kind of the same group of people, so they style them similarly, and there's multiple different types. I'll go ahead and link some websites for emulators down below. You do whatever you do with ROMs, make sure you check the legality, especially for Nintendo ROMs. They do cease and desist letters and whatnot. But yeah, they're all pretty similar. There's video settings, and just read the readmes. It'll tell you based off your CPU and this and that what's going on. And the cool thing about emulators too is since they're from old systems, the system requirements are way lower than new age stuff. So you could run these on laptops. You could have them on a USB and continue your save file from your desktop to your laptop or whatever else you have. Yeah, you have very similar settings. You have video, sound, just random stuff. Yeah, you can change the borders and this and that, and joypad, there's cheats and this and that. So let's go ahead and see Nintendo 64. Definitely some of my favorite games on here. These are cool too. I believe the 64 and the SNES ones, you can leave them as zipped folders and it'll still read the game. Let's pull up Ocarina of Time. I've been playing one of my friends' Super Smash Brothers. Let's make sure. A lot of the newer system ones are really good about remembering your controller stuff, but Xbox 360 wireless, and then you can load a profile. We'll just call this N64. Yeah, so let's play Ocarina of Time. Let's see here. And then if you don't know, Alt-Enter usually will full screen, well, it did it on its own, but it'll full screen pretty much any program that you're running. Ah, the sound of my childhood. I get creative with the naming sometimes. Let's see. I feel like this one would be better to play on the other controller. There we go. Yeah. Start's not working. Whatever. Oop. Go ahead and close that. Looks like we have a... I believe this is the Game Boy, or what is this called? Nintendo GameCube. Yeah, Metroid was like one of my favorite games of all time. So I have two of these on here. Let's see. Let's see if... Yep, looks like we got inputs there. Let's see if this game will load. Let's go and play some Metroid Prime. Some of them will do this. They'll open up a separate window, and if you cancel the main window, it'll close the system. Let's see here. Haven't heard that in a long time. Yeah, it's working really good. Whatever, we'll skip that, but you get the point. So that's NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Nintendo GameCube. Now let's open up a PlayStation 1. Let's go ahead and run. Looks like we have Driver 2, Metal Gear Solid. Ah, this is such a good game. You might have to install software that will take files and turn them into ISO files. ISO files are basically a digital disc. Looks like the resolution's all weird. Yeah, sometimes the resolutions are weird and you gotta play with them, so always read the readmes, and sometimes you just can't use full resolution because the old systems didn't have this high resolution. This monitor is a 1440p resolution. Let's see if we have a saved game on here. Let's see. Oh, that's cool too. So emulators will, emulate the memory cards as well, so you don't have to physically insert anything. The people that develop these things like thought of everything, and it's cool if you understand the file structure. You can always go in and add a memory card or copy a save folder from one and move it to another. Let's see where I was at in Metal Gear Solid. Gosh, this game is so good. Oh, we gotta insert disc 2. I think we can do that. Oh, I think I know what I have to do here. Let's see, we're gonna go ahead and, oh, change disk. There we go. Nice. Let's see, are we going? Yeah! That's something that the kids nowadays will never experience. There used to be games that were multiple discs, and you had to switch the discs mid-game. I think like Final Fantasy was like 4 discs, and you had to like... Let's see. Oh, I'm at the end! We're gonna go ahead and end that. And that's why I have them all in this line right here. So we even have a PS2. Let's go ahead and let's pick the ISO selector. Metal Gear Solid 2. If you haven't noticed, Metal Gear Solid is one of my favorite games of all time. Let's go ahead and do a fast boot on this here. Let's see here. What do we have? What do we have? Ah, Hideo Kojima was like brilliant. Let's go ahead and load game. Dang, I haven't played this since 2018. Looks like 9 hours into the game. Let's see here. Sit back.
Are you awake yet, Jack? GW, the Arsenal AI is corrupted beyond repair. I admit that I underestimated you.
Whatever, you get the point. We'll go ahead and end that. And then the other one I didn't show, I don't remember what system this is. Game Boy? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I have them in order. I have them in order, basically like newest to oldest from top to bottom. I do not know what we were doing here. Load. Oh, so I had to right click to select this. Is this... I don't quite know. Oh my gosh. Let's see if we can do... Oops. Enable sound, options, joypad. I don't even know if I set this up or not. Half the time I just download ROMs just to have it in a collection. I do remember playing this game though when I was younger. Let's see if we can get this to run. I don't know if I set up this controller. Oh my gosh. Whatever, we're not going to play that one. Let's go ahead and end there. And that, and then the last one would be Sega Gen. Well, actually, there's 2 more of the ROM, or the emulators. Let's go ahead and open ROM. Games. I don't remember how to run games on this one. Let me see. Boot CD. Open ROM. Let's try. Because there's three. Oh, it looks like I have different versions. Let's try USA. Option, joypads. I'm just gonna assume it's mapped. Let's see here. I remember playing this when I was really young, like elementary. Okay, one more. This is the most complicated of them all. It is a Wii U emulator called CEMU. This one is way higher powered than the rest of them. Of course, we're going to load Breath of the Wild. While that's compiling the shaders in the background, we're going to chat a little bit. So hopefully, just by looking at that, if you've never really understood how people were able to stuff all of those entertainment systems in their computer, hopefully it's kind of piqued your interest if this is something that you were always curious about, like, oh, there was these cool games that I used to play, and you just assume that since you don't have your system anymore, it's not something you can do. That's totally wrong. This stuff is saved on the internet, and there's tons of places to find these things, and you should go look after all of the... I should have done this one first and talked in the while I was doing this in the background, but... Yeah, either way, you can play anything on a computer, and they're always making new ones, and they're always making them updated. Like, I think whatever Wii is after the Switch, they already have a Switch emulator. It's not something I was too interested about. I don't think I'm going to let this go all the way through. I'm going to go ahead and exit this, but that was the hardest one to get going by far. So, that's emulation of console games. There's also another really cool thing, and there's a software called VMware Workstation Player. There's probably a newer version by now. And what it does is it lets you run a virtual machine, and virtual machines could be of different OSs, or they could be just a specific thing, but that's typically what I use them for, and I believe that's what most people use them for. So if you wanted to run Linux on a Windows machine, you could do it this way without booting into it. I do believe you have to have settings in Windows to allow for virtualization, so that's a thing. Maybe I'll look at it here in a sec. But so I was checking this out just the other day, and there's a game that I used to play when I was way younger. My aunt used to play it. There was a part in there where you had to like fix the music in a game called Dr. Brain. We're going to go ahead and load that. So I already have my Windows XP system configured, and we'll go ahead and boot into Windows XP. A lot of the young kids probably never heard that sound. So we're going to open Dr. Brain, but we are also going to... There was a game, I remember when I was a young kid, there was a game called Clue Finders. Because back then it was like there was this huge race to figure out what the market was for computer entertainment. And I feel like around that time you had a lot of experimentation of like what is a game, or what constitutes how to learn online or on a computer. And I used to play these games like Carmen Sandiego and whatnot, and it just had such a good fond memory of using these systems, and that's why I did this. So we'll go ahead and boot into Dr. Brain. Let's see if we got any CDs. Yeah, so we have... You can set up like what CD is in the operating system. It gets really meta. It's just like an emulator if you think about it. You have a computer system inside of a system. So it's a fake computer that uses software and the logic in the software to fake the old systems. And so just like that, in the D drive I have a ISO file, which is a CD, and you can change CDs. So let's go ahead and run a software that I actually have installed on this OS. It's called Dr. Brain. The sound is a little messed up. It's really hard to find sound drivers that are perfect.
We should continue the reconstruction in...
Let's do... I was doing motor programming. I did one yesterday. It was a lot of fun.
Now entering motor program.
Let's go ahead and change the difficulty.
All your program.
Alrighty, so the goal of this game is to pick up the brain, and as you change the difficulty, you get subprogram 1 and subprogram 2 with medium and hard difficulty. I just did the first one on hard. I guess if I remember to, I'll insert a picture here of the solution. So I want this guy to move twice, turn left, move twice, and then pick up. So looks like they already have the first two in here. Move, move, turn left, move. Let's see. Move twice, turn left, move, move, and then pick up. And we're going to go ahead and start the program.
You are to be commended for planning ahead and using effective decision making, all of which improved the function. This section is now 20%.
You program with excellence.
Okay, I'll do one more and then I'll go into a different OS. So we're going to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, turn left and pick up 4 moves. Move, 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 turn left, move, and pick up.
Hey.
This section is now 25%.
That was like...
I'm gonna go ahead and let the OS save this setup.
See you real soon.
So long, farewell, pip pip, Cheerios. Be back.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and you can do it through the menu up here, or you can do it in the OS. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down just so it saves everything. I need to get a better sound driver for that OS. It's kind of janky. And so what it'll do is it'll close this instance of this OS. I'll go ahead and open the software back up, and then we're going to go ahead and boot in. Let's boot in Windows 95. What just happened? That's not good. I just ran this yesterday. I don't know why that's doing that. Oh no. Let's try 98. That was weird. I don't know why I just booted into that yesterday. I don't know why I did that. I think... Oh, yeah. I remember this game. We'll go ahead and shut her down there. I think I have a few more games for this one, but go ahead and shut down. Dang, that's kind of disappointing that the Windows 95. Powered off. Powered off. 4 gigs. Let's see, Windows 95. Ooh, that's not good. Why is it doing that? I don't know what happened. I was just literally just running. Weird. I wonder, I'm just gonna... Error while powering on. Virtualized performance counters require at least one available functioning counter module. Weird, I don't know what happened, but either way, you get the point. So yeah, if any of that interests you, smash the like button, subscribe, and tell me what type of games you might want to see, or more info, or ask a question about any of these emulators and whatnot. Let me look and see if I can find a decent let's see. Yeah, this one's a good site. There's a bunch of different sites. This one's called emulatorgames.net. I'll link it down below. Let's say you found a system you liked, you can click on it. Oh, these are ROMs. Well, whatever. You can click on different systems, and then you can click on the emulators and download them, and usually they have readmes and whatnot. So yeah, sorry for taking off so much time from YouTube. I work full-time, go to school part-time, and so I was only supposed to take a couple weeks off. I didn't mean to take 3 months off of making real videos, but yeah, hopefully that's a decent overview. I know I didn't explain things properly, but I just wanted to at least show it. We'll see you around. I'll make a video, a real quick video on each one, kind of detailing more settings and whatnot, and how to set them up, and yeah, we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. See you guys around.